A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today our topic is psychosocial development. Let's begin with a dua. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yunin waj'alna lilmuttaqina imama. Our Lord, grant us from among our wives and offspring comfort to our eyes and make us an example for the righteous. We can imagine that if we have comfort from our family, life becomes really comfortable and satisfying. Let's read the hadith that's given on this slide. If a person dies, her deeds are cut off, except from three. Number one, a pious child who makes dua for the parents. Continuous charitable deeds. Knowledge left behind with which people benefit. If we bring up the children well, inshallah, they will make dua for us, and that will be a source of rewards even when we are not there in this world. Here is another hadith. Let's read the translation. Every child is born in a state of fitra, which means that he is born pure and innocent. It is the parent that will make him to be a Jew or a Christian or a pagan. This means that whatever the child develops into is because of the parent. So if we bring them up well, they will become people of good character. And if we fail, and if we do not take care of them properly at each stage of their life, they will become people who will not be a source of satisfaction for us and who are definitely not going to pray for us when we are not there in the world. Today our focus is going to be Erik Erikson's theory of personal and social development, which was proposed in 1968, and Erikson states 8 stages. He divides the age of human beings into 8 stages of psychosocial development. Let's see what these stages are. Number 1, trust versus mistrust. Number 2, autonomy versus shame. Number 3, initiative versus guilt. Number 4, industry versus inferiority. Number 5, identity versus role confusion. Number 6, intimacy versus isolation. Number 7, generativity versus stagnation. Number 8, integrity versus despair. Let's create an acronym to remember these stages. My shotgun is carved in silver diamonds. Now this sentence can help you remember the second part of each of the conflicts of different stages. So my stands for mistrust, shot for shame and doubt, gun for guilt, is for inferiority, carved for confusion, in for isolation, silver for stagnation, and diamonds for despair. For the first part of each of the stages, we have the acronym TA. T stands for trust, A stands for autonomy, 4I, initiative, industry, identity, intimacy. GI, generativity, integrity. So with the help of these 2 acronyms, you will be able to learn and memorize and remember these 8 stages of psychosocial development as proposed by Erik Erikson. Now let's go over each of the stage briefly. The first one is trust versus mistrust. This stage begins at 0 years and continues to 1 year. Now, at this stage, we all know that the only thing that the child is interested in is that he or she gets the feeding on time and the diaper is changed on time. He gets physical affection, love, and support at this time. And we should remember that whatever care we are giving the child, that will help him learn about the world. Now, what can be the learning that he gets at this stage? If he gets warmth and care and he's fed on time and his diaper is changed on time and people around him provide physical affection, love and support, then the resolution of this stage would be positive, and he will develop trust for others and the environment around him. He will develop positive attitudes, optimism, confidence, and he will develop coping qualities that if he faces any difficulty, he will be able to cope with it because he knows that there are people who love him and will provide him warmth and care. But if the parent is unable to fulfill his needs at this stage, and sometimes he's fed on time, sometimes he's not fed on time, mother is busy baking cakes or making biryani, and she's not able to give him food, that is milk, on time. And there's inconsistency in changing the diaper also. Sometimes he's changed on time, and sometimes he's dirty and no one cares and changes him. Or if the parent touches the child with strict and firm hands and is abusive while he or she is screening him, then he will develop negative qualities like mistrust. He's not going to trust the environment. He will think that the world is undependable and unpredictable. He will become gullible and easily hurt. The second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This begins at age 1 and ends at 3 years. At this time, the child is physically becoming more mature and he's capable of satisfying some of his or her own needs. And at this time, they start crawling in the beginning and then they start walking, so their mobility is increasing. And when their mobility is increasing, they will touch things, they will want to hold things, they will want to do things themselves alone without help. At this stage, if they get encouragement and guidance, if the child wants to do something independently and the parent is helping and guiding him and supporting him to do that task, then the child will develop positive aspects. And if the parent provides structure for doing those things, so the function of the parent would be encouragement, guidance, support, and structure at this stage. And if the child gets all that, he will feel autonomy, that he can do things alone on his own and he is free to do things, and he will develop self-control. And he will feel pride in his accomplishments, and he will develop good feelings towards others. He will follow rules. He will develop lawfulness. And because he's allowed to do things independently, he will develop judgment, what to do, what not to do, how to do it, and also decision-making skills. Whereas if the parent is harsh or is permissive and does not provide any structure, support, or guidance for performing tasks, and he lets the child do different things in whatever way he wants, and then there will be accidents. Or if the parent is too demanding and he expects or she expects perfection, and if the child fails in doing something, then the parent gets angry, then the child will develop shame, and he can also develop defiance, that he hates other people telling him what to do. And plus, they will develop self-doubt, that I'm not able to do things right. The next stage is initiative versus guilt. This begins at age 3 and ends at 6 years. This is the age of early childhood, and the preschool years begin at 3 or 2.5 and continue till 6 or a little later. Here the child develops his own ideas about what to do and what not to do, activities they want to pursue. Exploring capabilities. They would ask questions and they would try to explore everything around them. They will develop curiosity. They would want to know about things that are in their surroundings. Gaining more physical control, they'll be able to do things on their own and use their fine motor muscles and gross motor muscles to do different tasks. And they will ask extensive questions. They will always be asking questions. The positive resolution of this stage would be that they would take pride in capabilities. The word is take and not age. Take pride in capabilities, taking initiative, starting new tasks, doing things themselves, displaying capabilities. They will show that there will be tasks that they can do on their own, so they will show this capability. Independence in planning, and they will undertake a variety of activities that they would want to do. But if they are ridiculed, punished and criticized for everything that they start, if they are laughed at, if they are made fun of, and if they are punished for little accidents or mishaps or the failures that any scientist faces, if they are ridiculed, punished and criticized, what will be the result? They will feel inhibition, that they cannot fulfill their tasks, and they will have anxiety, and they will develop guilt that whatever I do is inappropriate and unacceptable. The next stage is industry versus inferiority. Period of learning. This is the period of learning, 6 years to 12 years, which is the primary school years. And over here, the child is constantly learning new skills, and these skills can be academic skills or other physical skills like making things, etc., the psychomotor skills. Then in a peer group, at this time, they learn to cooperate and share. They learn how to share and play with others in groups, and they also develop academic skills that they share with their peers. The positive resolution of this stage would be if the parent allows him or her to share their skills and develop and learn, and if he's encouraged and praised, then he will develop industry, which is a very important skill. They will become hardworking. They will persist in the face of difficulty, and they will not give up. They will persevere. They will work before seeking pleasure. They will understand that work is more important, and then you do the activities that will give you pleasure. But if it is resolved negatively and they face a feeling of failure, and they're always punished, and they feel that they can't meet adult expectations of their teachers or their parents, then they develop inferiority. They develop low self-esteem. They develop resentment towards adult authority. The next stage is identity versus role confusion. This is the time from 12 years to 19 years, which is the adolescence time. At this stage, the child or the young adult starts thinking abstractly, and they are able to comprehend what abstract thinking is. And before this stage, they are at the concrete learning stage. Assessment of beliefs and values. They're constantly assessing the society's beliefs and their value system. Intense exploration and search goes on at this stage, and physically they are rapidly growing. Conflicts of this stage have to do with the value system, actions, and words of adults. If the adults walk the talk, the resolution would be different. But if the adults say something else and do something else, then the child is constantly evaluating. Socializing agents are also examined and looked at closely. The second part has to do with career, their grades, and their personal appearance. So what are they going to take up as their job or profession? What grades are they receiving at this stage? And what do they think about their looks and their personality? So either they will develop totalism or idealistic thinking. So they are idealizing things and they are imagining and thinking that this is what my ideal should be. They search for a value system and they accept personal identity at this stage. Now, there can be different positions in identity development. The first one is identity confusion. This occurs when individuals fail to make clear choices, or there is confusion at this resolution, or at this identity diffusion would be when the young adult is confused. Choices may be difficult, or individuals aren't developmentally ready to make those choices. The second type can be identity foreclosure. It occurs when individuals prematurely adopt ready-made positions of others, such as parents. So if their parents are doctors, they feel that yes, they have to be doctors as well. If they are teachers, they want to be teachers as well. This is an undesirable position, and the reason for this is because decisions are based on the identities of others. This is not their own decision based on their attitudes, perceptions, and their likes and dislikes, but it is based on the identity of their parents. Number 3, identity moratorium occurs when individuals pause and remain in a holding pattern. Long range commitment is delayed. Number 4, identity achievement. This occurs after individuals experience a period of crisis and decision making. So they are constantly thinking, and maybe they will try something out and then they feel that no, this is not what I am, and they will give that up and take up something else. So there will be period of crisis and trials. And then identity achievement reflects a commitment to a goal or direction. So then finally, when they decide to do something, they will be committed to it. And this is the best kind of identity that we should go for. The next stage is intimacy versus isolation. And the adults here, beginning from 20 to 30 years, will be developing human relationships, willingness to relate to another person on a deeper level, to make commitments, forming reciprocal relationships through marriage or close friendship, make sacrifices and compromises that such relationships require. If the previous stages have been resolved properly, then at this stage the person will develop good, positive, intimate relationship with their spouse, and they will have a good reciprocal relationship with them. They will give respect, take care of their spouse, and get the same in response. The positive resolution of this stage would be that they will trust others, sense of autonomy, they will have freedom themselves and give freedom to their spouse, willing to take responsibilities of the relationship, having healthy self-esteem. Negative resolution would be weak self-identity. They will not trust themselves. They will doubt their capabilities. They would feel that the other person would not like them because they are not very good people, or they don't have capabilities. They don't look good. Fear of being overwhelmed by the love or the relationship that they are getting, swallowed by another person. So they will try to show their independence by showing anger and power. The next stage is generativity versus stagnation, and this is the middle adulthood period. This can be a period of productivity and creativity. Transmitting something positive to the next generation is the feeling at this stage if it is positively resolved. Resolution of the previous stages is if they are positive, the result would be that they will provide care and guidance for the next generation, which is required for the better development of the next generation. They will be raising a family, and they will understand their responsibility, and they will give back to the society what they have taken from it. They will have a sense of productivity and accomplishment. If it is negatively resolved, then they will become self-centered, and they will not care to give back to the society what they have taken from it, unwilling to help society to move forward, and they will have a feeling of stagnation and dissatisfaction. The next stage is integrity versus despair. This stage begins at 60 years and continues after that. People at this stage, they look back on their lives and they look for productivity and creativity in their life. They would, when they look back, they would either feel that their life was worth living because there are achievements and there are good deeds and they have done good things and they have given back to the society. They have accomplished things. They have been in a good profession and they have done their jobs well. So they will feel pride when they look back. And the positive, if all the previous stages are positively resolved, they will have these feelings. But if they are negatively resolved, they will look back on their lives and feel disappointments. They will see disappointments in their lives, and they would see unachieved goals. They will feel that their life was worthless, and then they will develop despair. Now, what are the classroom connections of these stages? There are 5 things, 5 simple steps that all teachers can and schools can ensure, and teachers can take these steps to ensure that the children develop and positively resolve all the stages. The first thing that we can do is help students achieve a high degree of success. Make sure that the teaching is done in such a way that every child feels the success. If it is done well and children perform well on their tests and in their classroom, then they will feel pride and they will feel autonomy and they will develop industry. And this degree of success, high degree of success that you would develop in the children or give them experience of, this should be especially in the elementary school. Number 2, be tolerant of honest mistakes. When the children will try out new things, when they will have initiative or they want to be autonomous, they will make mistakes. Learning is the result of making several mistakes, and then the achievement comes. So be tolerant of honest mistakes. Number 3, provide the security of structure while allowing freedom of expression. So whatever they want to do, they want to make a drawing, a model, or they want to say something, help them with the structure, how that task should be performed, whether it's oral or physical or written. So if the structure is provided, the child will do it right in the first time, inshallah. Number 4, take care of emotional needs while teaching. We should not teach robotically. We should understand that our children are human beings, they have emotions, and we should be conscious of that. We should create a positive learning climate in our classrooms. Number 5, be a role model professionally and personally. Model industry, professionalism, and individual dignity. So the qualities that we want our children to emulate, those qualities should be present in us, and then only they can emulate those qualities, inshallah. That's all for today. Jazakallah. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.